chapter 4, lesson 6, this lesson is called Constructing Functions, and it's on page 319 in your textbook. We're just going to move to page 322 in the textbook and do the 3 guided practice questions that we did in class today. So the first one says, as part of a grand opening, a fun fair gave out free tokens to the first 100 customers. Customers is the same thing as people. So there are people going to a fair, and the first 100 get free tokens. So we have an amount. We don't know how much free tokens they get, so we're going to have to find that later. The graph shows the number of tokens customers received for each dirham spent at the fun fair. Find and interpret the rate of change and the initial value. So if we look in the graph, in order to tell what the rate of change is, we can see that at 5 dirhams, you get 32 tokens. But 6 dirhams, you get 38 tokens. So from 5 dirhams to 6 dirhams, you would have to add 6. This is called the rate of change. So I'm going to write rate of change 6. And that is my rate of change. If I look in the graph, I can tell what my rate of change is. That means every 1 dirham, I get 6 tokens. So 6 tokens per dirham spent. Okay, so my rate of change is 6 tokens per dirham spent. My initial value is where my graph crosses the y-axis. So if I follow it down, I can see that it's going to be close to 0, but it doesn't look like it's exactly at 0. So I'm going to have to go backwards to find out where it is. So if 5 is 32, then 4 would be less than that. And I know that it's going up by 6s, so I can go backwards by 6s. So if I have 32 for 5, if I subtract 6, it would be a 26 for 4. So I'm at 26 for 4, and I take away another 6 for 3. So at 20 for 3, another 6 would give me 14 for 2, minus another 6 is 8 for 1, and minus another 6 will give me my initial value of 2. So my initial value is 2. And remember we said you get free tokens to the first 100. So this 2 is the amount of tokens free. So 2 free tokens for the first 100 people. And that's all I need to do. So when it says interpret, that means tell what that number means. So this is tokens per dirham spent, and this one is the number of free tokens that those people would get. Okay, the word problem is the same. A historic museum charges a rental fee. So this is going to be my initial value plus 20 AED per hour. So I have a rental fee, that's the initial value, and then another 20 dirham per hour to go to this museum for an audio tour. The total cost for 4 hours is 120 dirham. Find and interpret the rate of change and the initial value. So my rate of change and initial value. My rate of change in the problem, since it changes by $20 dirham every hour, that is my rate of change. It will change by 20 per hour. So my rate of change is 20. And this is the cost per hour for the audio tour. My initial value is the rental fee, and I know that 4 hours is 120 dirham. But if I do 4 hours times 20, I only get 80. So 4 hours times 20 would be 80 plus the rental fee would give me 120. So if I take 120 and I subtract the $80 for the audio tour or Durham, I would get 40 for my initial value. And this is the rental fee. And then I'm finished. A table is similar to a graph. It says a science center charges an initial membership fee. So this is my initial value. The total cost of the membership depends on the number of people on the membership as shown in the table. Assume that it's linear. That means that it's a constant rate of change. Find and interpret the rate of change in initial value. So here again, for every one person I add, my cost will go up 15 because from 80 minus 65 gives me 15. So my rate of change is 15, and that is cost increase per person added to the plan. So if I add another person to my plan, my cost will go up 15 Durham. Okay, and my initial value I can find if I go back to 0. So if I have 0 people, that would be my original cost. So if I go backwards to 1, for one person, I would have to do 65 minus 15, 65 minus my rate of change. So for one person, it's only 50 Durham. 2 people is 65, 3 is 80. And for 0 people, I subtract another 15. So I'm going to go back and I would be at 35 for 0 people. So 2 people is 65. Going back, I would be 50 for 1, and 0 would be 35. So my initial value is 35, and this is the initial membership fee. So you're doing this on your homework tonight, which is page 323, and you're doing the whole page, 1 through 5. I will take the first 5 minutes of class to answer any questions that you have, and you can come during your break if you have other questions. So page 323 is due tomorrow.